What aren't I reading? Let's find out. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zach with Zacks Books, and today I've got for you an anti-TBR book tag. Been seeing this a lot, going around a lot lately, and figured I'd give some of my answers for it. So, next to me is a stack of books. On my phone are the questions, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and anything that we have posted down below, check it out. Podcast, Instagram, all of it. All of it's down there. Take a look at it. And without further ado, let's get this tag started. Alright, so I want to say this list has got 8 questions. I think we're going to bring it down to maybe like 6 or 7, I believe, because one of them says you can combine it, and I think we're combining with another one. Well, let's just start with number 1. A popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. For that one, I picked Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Basically, I read the synopsis. A lot of you guys are recommending me this book, and I read the synopsis. It just doesn't seem to flow with what I'm really going for right now. That doesn't mean I'm never going to read it. It's not really going with me right now to where I would like to read it at this moment. Maybe we'll do a vlog with it at some point where it's like books I don't intend to read, and I read them in a vlog. So, but for right now, Mexican Gothic is not really a book that I'm really intrigued with. So, there you have a popular book that I'm not going to be reading, Mexican Gothic. Question number 2, a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading. So for this one, I picked 2. It's not really in terms of the author, it's just the book in general. The first one is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. This book is a very good classic book. It's just, again, another type of book that's not really up my alley. Again, it's a thicker book, which, as you guys know, I've read The Stand, I've read It. It's not a big problem for me. It's just, it's a classic book that doesn't really have a whole lot of like horror in it, and that's more of the kind of reader I am, is horror, thriller, mystery, and it's just a kind of classic book I really have got no interest in reading. However, I do like the fact that I own it. It's also a really cool looking copy too. So, but yes, Gone with the Wind, just a book that, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I'm not going to read it. But yes, and the second book that I have is The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. I just don't feel like reading it. I mean, I don't really know the premise of this. It's just a book that I know is famous and that I felt like I needed to have a copy of because it's just famous. I don't know anything else really besides that. So it's just a book I own. I found it on the shelf and I'm like, could use this. But Steinbeck himself, Of Mice and Men, obviously is a classic book, and I do intend to read that again. It's a really good book. But The Grapes of Wrath, just don't really have the intent or drive to really read it. So, there you have the 2 classic books I do not intend to read, Gone with the Wind and The Grapes of Wrath. Alright, question 3 is technically a combination of question 3, 3.2, and 4. Which 3 is an author whose books you have no interest in reading, and 4 is an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. The author I'm picking for this is Alex North. I've read The Whisper Man by him, and I also read The Shadows. I think that was the other book. Both of those were just pure garbage to me. I really just didn't like them. It didn't make sense. I don't know. I had such high hopes for The Shadows, and it really flopped. I think I did a reading vlog with that. Check it out up here if I have. I just didn't like it. I know in that video I think I said I'd give him a 3rd chance, but at this point I just don't think he's the author for me. You know, maybe he's the author for you. Maybe you enjoyed The Whisper Man or you enjoy The Shadows, but I just didn't like him. And I read both of them all the way through. I didn't like DNF one of them. But after reading 2 of his books, I just don't think Alex North is the author for me. So there's your answer for question 3, 3.2, and 4. Alex North, an author I will not plan to read again. Question number 5. A genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. So if you were to ask me this last year or when I started my journey on YouTube, I would have said fantasy. Just because their books are really massive and I just really had no interest in reading them. However, that has changed now. I really want to get into fantasy, and there's a bunch of them that I want to get into. You know, the Game of Thrones, Dune, The Wheel of Time. There's a whole bunch of them I want to get into. I got a whole shelf to them now. Lord of the Rings, any of them. I'm fair game with reading them now. So the answer I have now for that is going to be probably romance. It's just a genre that I really don't have an interest in reading. I'm married. I love romance. I love Danielle. But the genre itself, I just don't really see me reading it. I don't know. It's just me. Maybe romance is down your alley, but I'm in the next alley over. I don't intend to read romance. So there's your answer for number 5, genre I'm not going to read, romance. All right, question number 6. A book you have bought but will never read. This could be a book you have unhauled, returned to a library unread. So the book I'm picking for this is not based off of the size, which you can see it here next to me. It's a pretty big book. It's a type of book that I just don't really want to read, and it's Les Miserables. And that book is Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. This book is gigante. It is a very large book. The words are very small in the book this size to begin with. It's just something I don't really intend to read. It's nice to have on the shelf. It looks really cool. I mean, the spine is nice. But besides that, I don't really have the drive to read this book. It's just a really big book. It's humongous. Again, nice thing to have on the shelf, just something I do not intend to read. I got this thing at Barnes & Noble in like the $8 thing, so it's a pretty good deal. It's also a really cool looking book, so why not? But yeah, I do not intend to read Les Miserables. It's like hard for me to pronounce this book. I'm sorry, guys. But I do not intend to read this book, and I don't know, maybe in 15 years when I've got nothing else to do with my life, maybe I'll read it. But, I've got all this other stuff I gotta read first. So, Les Miserables, fortunately, you will not be read by me anytime in the near future. Alright, question number 7. A series you have no interest in reading, or a series you started and have DNF'd. Another time, if you were to ask me this a year ago, Harry Potter would definitely be in this position, because I had no intent on reading Harry Potter. And yet, here we are. I am through book 1, and I did a vlog on it. Up here, check it out. I'm going to continue that series, because it's such a popular thing, and I actually enjoyed the first book. So, instead, I'm going to pick Southern Reach, which is a series by Jeff Vandermeer, which is the Annihilation book. I read that when I first started my journey of reading books, not when I was on YouTube, but when I was just reading in general. And it was my first sci-fi fantasy type book. I think I gave the darn thing 3 stars. I really didn't enjoy it that much. There were parts that were okay. There were parts that were just why? And at the end of the day, it's just a series I really do not intend to pick back up. There's 3 books in it that I'm aware of, but on Goodreads there's actually 4 listed. There's Annihilation, Authority, which I don't know if Authority is the second or the third one. And then there's obviously there's the third one, which I can't think of the name right now. And then there's the 4th one, which, like I said, on Goodreads there isn't even a picture of the book, so I don't even know if this thing even exists. There's no information on it. It just says Southern Reach, number 4. So, if you know anything about that, let me know in the comments. I don't know what book 4 is. I don't understand it. There's no picture. There's no description. There's nothing on it. So, but yes, a series I do not intend to read, Southern Reach by Jeff Vandermeer. Sorry. Alright, the final question. A new release you have no interest in reading. I kind of went through some new releases that were on Danielle's shelves, because obviously my room is all old and I don't really have anything new in here. So I ventured into Danielle's room and just kind of stifled through some synopses, that were new releases that didn't really sound intriguing to me. And the one I ended up picking was Every Last Fear by Alex Finley. Finlay. Finley or Finlay. But it didn't really sound interesting to me, and it sounded like you're trying to, like, there's, like, two different stories going on. Like, there's the murder of this kid's family in Mexico, and then they're also talking about another murder that his older brother was accused of, and it just honestly sounds like you're going to be in two different, like, stories. And in the past, as you have known, whenever there's time jumps with me, I really don't like it unless it's very definitive, and I don't know, it just didn't sound interesting to me. It didn't sound good. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to ever read this. It's a new release. I think it came out this year. But I just have gotten no intent to read this book at all. It sounded 0% interesting to me. So, yeah, there you have Every Last Fear, Alex Finlay. Alright guys, so that was the Anti-TBR book tag. Those are my answers. And, well, those were the questions. Obviously, things might change in the future. Who knows? But for now, those are my answers. What are some answers you've got? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to check out what we have posted down below. Our Instagrams, Goodreads, the vlog, you know, all the podcast stuff. All that good stuff. Don't forget to check that out down below. All that's posted down below. We will also post the questions down below as well for you if you want to film your own. I don't know. But yes, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next video. Later.